Hello and welcome to part 6 of my Let's Play of Atelier Rorona. When last we left, we pretty much completed what we needed to in the ruins, and we completed our assignment so that we kind of have some time left over to kind of finish doing a little bit of exploring. So we'll head on over to the national mines and dive a little bit further into this particular area. Now, on the last part, we did create some bombs, and those are going to come in, are valuable or invaluable to this particular area. Scattered throughout the different lands and areas, you're going to come across boulders or some obstacles that you're going to need items to get across. And boulders would be one of them. And the best way to remove a boulder or that particular type of deal is to use a bomb. Now, it could be several different types of bombs. It doesn't have to be the TNT variety. Although that works the best early on in the game. Later on with the lightning and the globe and maybe some other bombs, you could probably do a little bit better damage. But at least at the starting point, your TNT-like ones are probably your best option. The trick is going to be the quality of the bomb. There's some rocks that can pretty much be destroyed no matter the quality of the bomb, and there are those that require a fairly high quality of bomb, and your lower quality's not going to be able to make it through the rock. You have one shot. It's not like a continual thing. Like that rock there, we'll get back to it in a moment. The rocks and stuff, they reappear after you destroy them. So if you're going to be coming back to the area, then you're not going to want to waste your items on that. But that particular rock is something that requires, I think it's like a mid-range bomb. Now, how that necessarily works is it's based off of the quality of the ingredients that you use to actually make the bomb, like the fertilizer or whatever, the supplement or what the ingredients is kind of what drives that. And depending on the quality of the ingredients and the quality of the end result, that's what creates the traits of the bomb. It's kind of unlike your ingots and stuff like that, where your main how you kind of do that is based off of the attributes or the higher grade versions of the minerals and stuff like that. It kind of works a little bit differently when it comes to the bombs. I don't really know off the top of my head what the line in the sand is, but you have to be pretty close to 100 plus in the quality in order to get large damage. The other trait that's kind of common for bombs in the game is the expanded range, and that particular trait is there for when you're using the bomb in combat. By default, you can pretty much only target one enemy per bomb. The expanded range would allow you to target potentially multiple mobs. So you have basically the damage level and the range or area of effect that you have to deal with when it comes to bombs. And this early on in the game, it's really difficult to get a lot of those higher grade, higher level items in order to make the better grade bombs and stuff, because your bomb ingredients, that redstone stuff and whatnot, it's very rare to find, and in the areas that you do find it in, the quality of it is just not all that great. Even that fuel dirt is, you know, is okay, but so you really have to do what you need to do to get it up to a decent enough level. And that could be actually making, you know, kind of a trick deal is to making that, whatever that fuel dirt deal that you make out of that, the dirt. I forget what it first called. That is an ingredient that you can use, and you can use supplements, so you can actually make some high quality supplements that would make a high quality ingredient for the bomb, and which would help make a higher quality of bomb. So that's kind of one way to look at it.
This is my chance.
But it's actually kind of difficult to do at the early on stages. Even if you purchase the items, the purchase items aren't really all that much better than what you find.
It was just getting fun.
And the rest of the ingredients that you find around here, the spider webs or the iron webs or whatever, actually do come in handy later on in the game as far as crafting goes. The chain webs, that's what it is. Your poison head stuff really isn't that important. I'm sure it is more important to cooking if you're actually going to do more on the food route. But other than that, really, they don't have much of a purpose outside of supplements and stuff like that. There's very few recipes that actually require just that. And then that white flowery substance deal that we gather, that's also quite important. It can be used for cloth and various other items later on. It's pretty low quality here, but the thing is, they generally come with some pretty nice traits. You know, that hidden secret's a pretty good trait, and various things. So it's not a bad thing to collect, though you're gonna find better elsewhere. So don't worry about collecting all of it. So here we are back at that rock, and as you can see, my bombs aren't gonna be strong enough to actually get through this. And it doesn't, like, it regenerates every time, so it's not like you can use multiple and hope it goes through. So basically I can't get through it right now. I actually have to go and get a better bomb, and I don't really have the time as far as days to go and make it and come back. So we'll come back and revisit the mines later on. I know there's one area in the cave that requires a super duper high quality bomb in order to get through, and I never do. I never come back and get through it, so it's kind of annoying that way. But you know, I don't know. Later on, there are some other obstacles that are less irritating than that, but it is what it is. Generally what I do with the bombs is when I do make one that's really good, really high quality, with the range, with the high damage and all that,
looks like we've won.
I generally go through the whole wholesale thing, which we haven't unlocked yet, and I'll talk more about that later. But it's kind of good to keep that, keep the big ones until that comes out. But because, like I said, some of these high quality stuff is really hard to find early on.
Thank you so much for helping me.
You don't need to thank me.
I have to start synthesizing right away. Excuse me.
She needs to calm down a bit, but I'm glad she seems to appreciate my help.
How'd
gentlemanly of you, Sturkenberg.
You should stop sneaking up on people. And I recall asking you to stop calling me that.
I don't like saying your real name every time, but I know how much it bothers you.
So, what do you want?
What's your plan?
What do you mean?
I want to know what you're trying to get from helping Rorona.
Nothing. I'm helping her because I want to. That's all there is to it.
Fine. You're not the scheming type anyway. However, if you're doing this to make yourself feel better...
How dare you? Neither the king nor I expected you to make Rorona take on these jobs for you.
You're losing it, Sturkenberg.
I apologize.
I'm also just making sure that you don't have any filthy thoughts towards sweet little Rorona. You don't, do you?
I am not like you.
I'm just joking with you. I'm glad you're still the same nice guy.
What is that? Sarcasm?
It's called a compliment. Relax. Anyway, as her master, I guess I should officially ask you to please take good care of my dear pupil.
Don't worry.
And don't do anything to her. Rorona is mine.
That's enough.
The angrier you get, the more suspicious you make yourself look.
How can anyone under that woman's guidance turn out like Rorona?
So with that all out of the way, we got a couple of days to do what we need to do before our evaluation day. So we'll spend the time kind of doing the normal thing, doing some quests and whatnot. You know, just kind of wandering around a bit. And to round out the rest of the day, since there's really not a whole lot we can do in the area, I'm going to do a little bit of gathering, primarily for some ingredients that I'm kind of low on. This particular run is going to be more towards the wood. The wood and beehives, for that matter, are both kind of a bit of a rare commodity in this game. You definitely get a lot more. You definitely can find a lot more in Toturi than you can here. And I found actually finding it with high quality is actually pretty rare too. I know later on in the game you do get some more areas that offer wood, but not a whole lot. And even then, it's pretty rare to get some high quality stuff. Your best bet to get some of the higher stuff is to actually buy it from one of the stores, and potentially some of the vendor that hasn't been introduced yet. It's just kind of difficult to find some of the higher quality stuff, and both the wood and the beehive are actually quite valuable to have. They're used in a multitude of recipes, especially that beehive one. You can actually make bombs with that. So that's another high quality item that you can find to kind of help with that. So they're both kind of rare to find, and you use a lot of it. It's kind of a difficult finding that middle road a bit.
Easy as pie.
And you notice that I am picking up a bunch of that rubble. Generally, for crafting, the rubble is useless. It kind of says it itself. It's not really used for anything. There are two things that it's importantly used for, or actually kind of one, but supplements is a big one that it's used for, and they come with some very good traits normally. Like hidden skills, +1 attack, +3, and so forth. So, you know, they may be somewhat worthless from a outside perspective, but really they can be quite valuable. I know that their quality is generally pretty low too. However, you can kind of get around that. So as you level up your alchemy trading, the higher quality of stuff that you're going to be able to make, so you can actually replace the low quality rubble with the ability to actually make some pretty high quality supplements with it, with those traits attached to it. So it's good not to ignore that, although it says that it is worthless. So here we are with our second evaluation day. And since we did complete it, we got all the stars in it. We'll get that 3-star completion with it. I don't really remember what the line is to get either 1 or 2 stars. You know, I don't know. These are generally, it's pretty easy to get a full star list. The red stars are difficult to do if you're striving for all of those, but the gold stars are actually pretty easy. So here we go with our next assignment with the 3 items: the witch's salva, the bee statue, and the healing aroma or arma or whatever. The witch deal can be quite valuable in battle. It's used that you can actually put enemies to sleep and stuff like that. I never really used it too much, but it can be quite helpful. It's definitely a lot more useful here than in the Toturi game. It has a better chance to land, and you can put bosses to sleep and stuff like that. So there is a potential use for it. It's not that big of a deal. The healing aroma is kind of another healing item, or an ingredient for additional healing items and stuff later on. Really, if I just stuck with the healing salves, you know, the aroma stuff just really isn't all that great comparatively. So that's kind of what I stuck with. Now the beast statue is probably one of the best things you're gonna get, and it's some of the higher quality, and it's pretty easy to get high quality since it's a pretty low alchemy recipe. So you can actually get a pretty high quality pretty easy. Those things are awesome. Basically, they'll summon and it changes into a different creature based on the quality of the item, and it can do some massive damage to your opponents, far more than even your bombs and stuff. So that is actually a pretty helpful little thing to have, and you get multiple uses per go. I think the quality decreases each time you use it, so there's a little bit of a drawback there, but man, it can do some serious damage. And since we got the new assignments, we get new recipes from all the shops. Our folks have some souvenirs for us to get, so that's kind of what we're just doing here. Again, you could pretty much forget about the cooking one if you want to. It's not that important.
We were just about to come see you at the workshop. Here you go. It's a souvenir from our last trip.
But, you know, there are some stuff in there that from the cooking wise that you can use for ingredients for other things. So, you know, if you're short on the gill, the kind of a good idea is you want the sun dry first. Then you're gonna want the beefy equipment guy dude's books, because he's generally bombs and stuff. The sun dry is usually healing and other ingredients that you need. And then last, food. And there's another store that we'll get later on that will make the food 4th place. But really, you can pretty much ignore that one altogether. Again, the healing, your basic healing stuff is better than the food in this one. So... Though you do have to do inquiries and stuff if you want to continue on with that character's ending and progression, since he is a companion that you can hire. But since I'm not really going for the full true ending here, so I kind of avoid doing all that. We learned a lot more. The lightning bombs are actually quite useful. They're quite powerful, and tonics are actually kind of helpful. So those are the two big takeaways from all that. And the food stuff really isn't bad if you're going to go down that route. Again, I don't really find that all that helpful. Bomb bags too. They don't do a whole lot more damage. They have some more effects, but it's not like it's gonna do an immensely more amount of damage than your normal bomb. So, and that'll do it for this playthrough. I know it's kind of been boring these last couple of goes, but I promise after this first year, things will get a little bit more exciting, and as things move on, we'll get closer to actually some more boss battles. So, thanks for watching. God bless.